Hello, everyone. We are back here and we're doing another draft. We have received our pack actually, and we're just gonna evaluate the cards here. So there's a give and take, which is kind of okay. More of the obstinate not really a fan of this. There's a Zurta, a druid. There's nothing much here apart from the give and take and then the breaking and entering. Not really looking forward to play the breaking and entering here. So I'd probably just get the give and take. I'm leaning to get this Zorta Druid, which is really rock solid. But at the moment, let's just take this give and take at the moment. Sorry. Okay, let's see our second pack here. There's a Woodlot Crawler, which is a pretty solid card. And there's also a Vyashinu First Blade, which I've seen a lot of people give good comments about that. There's a Ubal Gates car keep sorry Ubulsar Gatekeepers, and there's also a Fatal Fumes here. But in terms of the in terms of the cards here, I'll probably take this Woodlot Crawler over the Vyashina First Blade. Um, I don't really feel bad taking this one. And I'm just gonna try to sense here what's really open. Vicino First Blade is really good with your Boros decks, but after the turn that it came down, I'm not really excited about having a 2-2 left behind. Although the people I know, they really value the card a lot, and it's probably worth considering that as well. So there's a Golgari Guild Gate, and our uncommons would be Armed and Dangerous, along with the Gruul War Chant. But my eye is definitely fixed on this one. The Beetle Form Mage, such a solid card, and most of the people I know also and probably agrees with that because at this format, it tends to be a little slow. Evasive guys like this, like the Woodlot and the Beetle Form Mage, just makes a lot of sense picking them up. Other cards notable could be a Cruel Warrior, Solid True Drop Rare, Golgari Gilgate. Doesn't really hurt to pick them up if you have those Ubers, what they call that, Uber Star Gatekeepers, the black one. But at this point, I'm just gonna take the Beetle Form Mage in terms of power level. I think it pretty much defines itself. There's a Simic Guildgate, which would help out on our mana. There's a Showstopper, not really looking to play that. Catch and Refuse, this is quite nice, but not gonna try to play that either. There's a Drown and Filth, interestingly, which can go well with our first few picks here. Although there's a Windrake, which I hate to be passing because I just like evasive creatures and then just stabilize the board with a few more things there. I'd probably just try to take a guild gate at some point, but over here I'm gonna prioritize this Drake. I hope we could table a Drowning Field or a removal, but I'm just gonna focus on the creatures now. There's an Emma Tandris, which is pretty rock solid um, for things that will be requiring a tokens there. There's a Rakdos Drake here, which really caught my eye and most probably be our pick. But I'd like to consider a Thrashing Moss Dog as well because it has Reach, it has Scavenge as well, which will probably work pretty good with our deck, provided that we might go Golgari at some point here. And I'll probably just take for the purposes. I've got a couple of evasion guys already, and this one will require an unleash to be purely effective. So I just took the mass dog there, and its scavenge cost is quite high, but during the later part of the games, it can really help out. Mm, Nothing much here if we're gonna stick to the plan. Although there's a Yoshino First Blade again. I'm not sure if this is our opening pack. It probably is, but I didn't see any graces there. So Boros might be open along with the other white cards here. Um, that being said, I might just take this graces for the purposes of curving. So let's just do that. Other cards there wasn't able to point out anymore. There's a hard torture and another crisis, which at this point I need to decide whether I'm gonna take the crisis or this one. There's a part of me want to take this hard torture instead. For the reasons being that I do have some evasive guys here already, and then stabilizing the ground would be much better having the torturer. Although it could be a wrong pick, but I'm just gonna take the hard torturer here. It can work for us during the longer games. There's an obstinate aid, and there's a maze behemoth, which is pretty cool. There's a gruel clue stone. None of the clue stones particularly work well for us. Well, and then there's this Koros the Gorgon, which is probably gonna be our pick. I'm gonna give it a try. Actually, I haven't really worked with sorry, Gorgon, yeah, just as yet. And from the looks of the cards here, I think that's gonna be a pretty decent pick for us. There's a semi clue stone which could help us out here. Although there's a drown and filt as well. I think we might just want to pick this drown and filt, and then hopefully we can get a few notable scavenge guys on our third pack. That being said, I really hate to pass a clue stone here because it will definitely help us out. We're just hoping to pick a few guild gates at some point. So I'm gonna take the drown and field here for the purposes of hopefully having some removal. Alright, we have a choice here. We can go Mirror Mad Phantasm, and we can also get this Ruli Gatekeepers. I think I'm just gonna go with the Gatekeepers. Both of them just are for purposes of having a ground unit, and I think the Gatekeepers is much better because it can attack and it's not limited to a defender. And at the same time, if we start picking gates along at some point, then it's gonna be a lot better for us. Easy pick here would be a Golgari Cluestone. We may have a solid um, deck at some point, but I've learned my lesson from the other videos that we definitely are gonna be needing clue stones and mana fixers because the deck alone is not sufficient if you don't have mana fixers, especially when you are higher than when you have more than two colors, and it's gonna be hard to support there. So I'm just gonna set aside Drown and Field here, and then probably get this Mirror Mad Phantasm. Oops, what happened there? I ended up picking up the Gruul. Okay, just pick this up. Mind Static. It could be playable for us. This one, not really. Okay, let's just fix our deck here a bit. All right, we have opened our second pack, and mm, it's not too bad. We have a Bio Visionary, but I'm not really excited to pick this right now. There's a Call of the Nightwing, which is a serviceable card. Uh, this is tough. Actually, we have our evasion guys here, but it's not in the just as many as we are right now. And there's also a Duskmantle Guildmage. My eyes are looking at a Shamble Shark just for the purposes of having a 2-drop. But since we are prioritizing the 2-drop, between the Shamble Shark and the Guildmage, I think it's much better to take this Guildmage for the reasons that it has some quite powerful effects here. And yeah, we might just be able to keep this working, and it works really well along with your Balustrade Spy and all those other spells. So let's just take the Guild Mage here. All right, there's an unexpected results, which is kind of okay. I don't really look forward to play that. There's a Ground Assault, which is rock solid. Also Skynight Legionnaire, and Boros does look like open here. But I think I'm just gonna take the Gridlock for the reasons that our plan mainly is to just stabilize the ground, hit with our evasion creatures, and then probably finish with a Gridlock. If we can see an opening, we can tap their guys during their turn and try to finish. That being said, I'm not really excited to pick a Gridlock at this point of the draft, but there's nothing much really here. So let's just take this one. There's another Gridlock, and we have a choice between Krokanura and Pit Fight. Interesting. We could go with the Pit Fight here, which is a solid removal, but I hate to be passing a Krokanura at this point. We are kind of low on creatures also, so I'm just gonna take this Krokanura over the Pit Fight. Then later on, what we are trying to or hoping to will from this pack is either a Prophetic Prism or just a plain Demir Guildgate. Wheeling the Metropolis Flight isn't so bad as well, so let's just see what our options is going to be later on. There's an Urban Evolution, which is rock solid, but there's also a Frilled Oculus. I'm torn between choosing the Frilled Oculus and the Drakewing Crasis. Crasis being a solid evasive creature, and it really does its work, and not to mention it has trample. However, for the purposes of curving, we have pretty much an okay sorry, 3 mana slot here, and the crazies would require us to have a green and blue. I think the tiebreaker there would be the casting cost. Field Oculus not only 2-drop, but also it is gonna require us just 1 blue mana, just in case we don't draw that green mana early. Okay, Simic looks really open at the moment, so I might just take this another evasive guy and go from there. We did take a 2-drop, and hopefully we can get another one from this pack. But at this point, I think in terms of the power level, I'll just slam this elusive Crasis, which is really rock solid, and it can also have a good body to block. So let's just take this one. Nothing here. There's a Spire Tracer which would work really well if we start picking Ivy Lane Denizens, which I really doubt it's gonna work or it's gonna appear at this late of the game. There's a Gateway Shade worth considering, and there's a Shadow Slice actually, which could just be our pick here. Kinda torn between Shadow Slice and Agoraphobia. I think I'm just gonna take the agoraphobia here. Hopefully we can pass by another shadow slice. The reason being, it's this is common, this is uncommon, and the chances of wielding or getting another shadow slice is pretty much higher than the agoraphobia there, and we kind of need a removal here at some point because we only have drown and filth, and we don't really have something to interact with our graveyard just as yet. We're hoping to get that within our pack three. Hmm, I think it's gonna be a pick, an easy pick here for us, which is Nimbus Swimmer. Hopefully we can just have enough resources here, but it's another evasive guy. So let's just take this Nimbus Swimmer. Alright, there's a Mortis Strider, which is fine. But do we want recursive creatures coming back to the battlefield? I don't really see it. We don't have the plan of the denizen, the blue denizen that can benefit us with this. So I'm just gonna take the another two drop here just for the curve purposes. Snapjo isn't too bad. It's kind of okay really, but at this point I just need to take this disciple for curve purposes. Snapjo we can always get something from the other packs, just a curve topper if that's what we really need here. Really happy to see the Shamble Shark table. So there's a clear indication that Simic is open and hopefully Golgari will be later on. So we're just gonna take the Shamble Shark here. Then yeah, nothing much really. Mm, yeah, easy pick for a Verdant Haven, which we might just also run later. This is kind of an okay card, and it really works well with our. It is almost like an additional land drop, and not to mention it's gonna start getting you life. Very much happy to get the Guildgate here. So things are pretty much okay. And the cards that we were hoping to wheel or to get back are just started wheeling for us. I'm kind of happy that we are at some point able to go to that guild that okay. There's another Verdant Haven which I don't think I'll be running. I think one is enough, so I'm just gonna take this authority here. And hydroform for sideboard isn't too bad. Okay, just finishing up our cleaning up here. Let's see what we get from our third pack. So we can just sort the mana cost and let's set aside our spells. Okay, we've opened our first pack, sorry, our third pack, and yeah, this is a pretty decent pack. We got Recent Sanctuary and Centaur Healer, um, both of which are really solid Celestia cards, although we are not really running Celestia here. There's a Chaos Imps that could benefit us, and there's also a Grizzly Salvage, which is pretty much workable, serviceable on this deck. Although I'll probably just take the Grim Rustabout. Again, it's another creature, and at the same time, the tendency or the likelihood of wielding a Grizzly Salvage here would be better for us. Although it would really help if we can start bringing things on the graveyard. I hope we can get something going on with our graveyard because we have a few creatures here that is worth taking. Okay, there. This is an okay pack for us, or it's really strong. We have an ultimate price, which is a solid removal. We have Dread Reveler, which is really a solid 3 drop for us. There's a trestle troll. If you want to speak about maintaining the ground, then this trestle troll just really does its work. There's also Golgari Gate, which rock solid. There's a hover barrier. This is worth picking high. To be honest, it can really wreck a lot of things there. I'm torn between actually, to be very honest, I'm torn between this. You might find it strange, and the ultimate prize, but I'm just gonna take the ultimate prize here. Nothing much needed to be said there. It's a removal, and it's pretty conditional, but you're just gonna need we're just gonna need that at some point. Okay, things are still looking pretty okay here. There's a Grim Rustabout, which we can pick a second, but I think we're pretty clogged on our 2 drop here. Sluiceway Scorpion as a 4 drop doesn't really hurt. It's Death Touch and can be evasive at itself. Not to mention its scavenge cost. It's not really high and it's really serviceable. Things we want to wield, either the Rustabout, an Inspiration, or this Towering Indrik, which is just a good stuff here that we can include in our fourth slot. Okay, there's an aggressive Dragon Wrangler here, which caught my eye kind of easily, and there's also a Golgari Long Legs, which can be a really solid curve topper. Um, Jailbreaker wouldn't hurt, although we didn't really, luckily we didn't, sorry, we're not really lucky on picking up our packs here. Lunch Party is also okay. Between the Lunch Party and the Dreg Mangler, I'm leaning towards the Dreg Mangler because it's a very solid creature, and at the same time, its scavenge cost is serviceable and can really work out well with our deck. So I'm just gonna take this. Hopefully, one of these cards would will, but if not, then that's just it. We try to do as much as we can there. So what we are trying to get now, we are looking for solid curve toppers. We're looking for tricks, and at the same time, some form of removal. We're also looking for on-color guild gates that can help us out. So nothing much really here. There's a downsize, which is okay. There's also an Axebane Stag. I'll probably take the Stag here, although I might not play it. Or should I just take the downsize? I think I'm just gonna take the downsize. I need not worry too much about curve toppers like big creature in the form of Axebane Stag. For the reasons that we do have Scavenge, I might be able to use Scavenge at some point during the latter part of the game. And it's more or less equivalent to a big creature anyway. So there's a Slitherhead here, which could be our pick. Although there's Chorus of Might. And then there's a Sundering Growth. Interesting. I'm leaning towards Slitherhead, although we're pretty clogged on creatures already. And I would probably take a Sundering Growth here or a Chorus of Might. In terms of serviceability, I might need this at some point because of all the strong enchantments lying around. And yeah, so let's just take this, set aside this here. There's an inaction injunction. Okay, and there's also a Blaster Squall, which might be our pick here. Druid's Deliverance is okay, but we're not running Celestia, and we're not looking to fill in our third slot, our 3 drop slot here, so a trick wouldn't really hurt. Let's try to keep that. Nothing else. There's a dispel, and we might just be able to use that at some point. There's also Judge's Familiar, but not really looking to use that. There's a Grizzly Salvage, which is gonna be our pick here. I'm just gonna looking at this Goblin Ooze if it's worth. Sacrifice another creature, put a +1/+1 counter. A little too slow for us, so I'm just gonna take the Grizzly Salvage here. Trestle Troll did wheel back, and there's a Mana Bloom. Another Dispel, which is okay, but I think we're pretty content with just one Dispel here. So I'm just gonna take this Trestle Troll and a cancel, of course. Or should I consider taking this Codex Shredder? Not really. We're just gonna take the cancel here. There might be some spells that we just don't have an answer to, and look forward to just countering it. Okay. Nothing here left. Not really. That is a weird. Blister Call weird is well downright weird anyway. So there's an Axebane Stag. Pretty happy to how the picks turned out. The things that we wanted to wheel actually wheeled. Although the quality cards like Lunch Party and all those other cards that we were hoping to wheel didn't. The ones that did are still serviceable, and we did came up with a sorry, pretty creature heavy deck here. So let's see what our options are gonna be. All right, let's try to visit our deck. There's a Drown in Filth worth considering. So I'm just gonna set aside our Golgari cards here. There's a Grizzly Salvage which work well with Drown and Filth. Um, gonna set aside this. I'm also gonna set aside the Gatekeepers because we didn't drew enough gates. So we're pretty heavy on creatures to be honest. Let's see here. So our tricks would be in the form of Gridlock, Give or Take, and Agoraphobia. Okay, I'm just gonna try to group our friends here. Green Rustabout. They should fall under here at some point. Just taking some double checks there. Verdant Haven should be okay. I think we're just gonna run this. Crasis is a question mark. Windrake, okay. Hard Torturer. Not really sure. I'll probably just need to set this aside for now. If it happens to be a very stalled heavy board, then it might be worth considering. Crisis, the Cluestone. Okay, I think we're pretty much looking to play like this. So I'm not really sure what the ability of our Gorgon here means. I think it's just a one-time activation, given that it has two and then a comma. Not really sure how that works. It's probably the best time to determine here what it really does. Okay, so we are at 25 playables. We have 7 other spells here which are non-creature. two of those spells are actually Verdant Haven and Cluestone, which is our mana fix. I'm trying to understand here if we want to give the Grisly Salvage a try along with the Drown and Field. If we do that, then what we are gonna try to take out here is either a downsize and um, an Axebane Stag. So we can bring this in if it's really a stalled board and we see ourselves really waiting or unable to penetrate. So let's see. I'm gonna give this a try. This combination, it might work. Drown in Field might be a good removal for us, although it's sorcery speed, which is kind of sad. But let's see there. We can try this combo actually. Yeah, let's see if it's gonna work for us. So this is pretty much what our deck is gonna look like. So we are 24. I think we need to make one cut here. If I am to choose which card to cut, it probably is gonna be the Disciple because having all these things here has their own unique ability. This being a regenerative thing, and all the others has additional things with them. Um, Although the Disciple just is a plain 2/2 bear for us, I am kind of sketchy because my worry is we're gonna drop to a pretty low creature count there. So probably not gonna do that. So the question is the Verdant Haven enough, or sorry, is the Gilgate and the Cluestone enough to um, help us out with our mana fixing? The reason being our curve here is not really high. Actually, the highest would be a Koros the Gorgon. Another thing is we can just run 16 lands, which is kind of risky, and just let these things be there. I think I'm just gonna cut the Verdant Haven here. We are not ramping into bigger spells anyway, and mostly the application of Verdant Haven that I've seen are for ramp decks. So I'm just gonna do that, and then let's see our color requirements here. Need to be very fast. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Blue sources 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 9, 10. 10 black sources. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So 13, 11, and 10. Let's add our basic lands. 13, 11, and 10. We do have a Demir Guildgate and a Golgari Cluestone. So that would bring us to 666. Possibly a 7, 7, 6, which is okay. Let's see our color requirements in terms of converted mana cost. How early do we want to see our spells there? So we do require some blue and green. Black is also hungry there. So I think it's a bit of a balance. Nothing really outstanding. It seems to have balanced itself, although at the later part we might need some green. And the suggestion here is 556, and we do have a Demir Gilgate and a Clue Stone to help us at some point. I think this is pretty okay. The splitting of the lands there should be okay. I don't really think there's anything we need to change there. So I'm just gonna add this. And we do have our 40 cards, so it's total of 17 lands, 16 creatures, and 7 other spells, which isn't too bad. We might just do some fixing when we do our sideboard later, but I'm just gonna submit this deck, and then we will see you guys for round 1.